Okay, this is as good as anywhere to try to do this. The reason that I never got into riding at an earlier age was, well, in the beginning when I was younger, I didn't have any money. I had kids to support, and I was married, and the money just wasn't there. In 2016, I was gonna buy a bike, and I was gonna buy a street bike. I was looking at like Honda Shadows to turn into a bobber, or something along those lines, something cheap, street bike, because my younger brother, who at the time was 25, he had a Harley. He went and got a Harley, he went out riding, everything like that, and he absolutely loved it. And at that point it was like, alright, well, now my brother has a bike, he wants me to ride and everything, and he's got a Harley, so I was going to go with kind of a road bike like that because kind of ride together with a similar type of bike. And a sport bike was definitely something I'd considered, or once again, like a Honda Shadow or something along those lines, because I like the Honda Shadows. And that was the plan, was to ride with him. On July 27th of 2016, he had he got up and was getting ready to go to work. A friend came by and said, let's go for a ride, let's ride before work. Let's go for a ride, and then we'll ride from, we'll take the long way and we'll go to work. He worked directly across the street from where he lived. So, it was just a matter of, let's just go ride. And so he left his house, which is, a mile or so that way, which we're not starting there. They came in here. They stopped for lunch because he works second shift. So they stopped for lunch here, and then they began their ride. curves here. These curves are great to open up. And you're in the wind. And it's just, there's no feeling like it. I know that. And I know it's different on a Harley. I know it's different on, you know, any bike like that. There, so filming a crack in the windshield. I know I need a windshield. After we lost my little brother, I didn't want to ride with anybody else. I wanted to ride with my brother. And with the fact that he was no longer here, I could no longer do that. So I had no interest in getting a bike. My other brother never really recovered from the loss and never really got out of the slump. He turned around and he went and bought a trail bike. With the fact that he went and bought a trail bike, he was looking for somebody to ride with. And I was definitely not going to get a bike at the time. I was just, you know, alright, got a trail bike, have a good time, enjoy, you know, riding and everything, but he made it very clear he would love to have somebody to ride with. He never said he would never get a bike. He said he would wait 5 or 6 years and then he would get a bike. And he did. He waited 5 or 6 years, he waited the 6, and then he got a bike. I'll never physically ride with my brother. My other brother, I can physically ride with. And if it helps his mental state as well as mine, then we can ride in honor of and in memory of our brother. One of the risk takers, one of the ones that tend to get hurt more. My little brother was the one that, yeah, he would take risks. He was a thrill seeker. Nothing ever happened to him, you know. He always stayed right within his limitations, right within his zone of things going bad, things getting ugly. my brother went around him. He went into a slide. And he slid off the edge. He wrapped his body around that arrow sign. It still leads to this day. It's a 4x6 post. That's a 4x6 post. And it broke and leaned over. I'll never know the exact details of what happened. I'll never know the 100% truth. But I know that this curve, and then he low-sided right there. For the longest time, you can still see where the bike dug into the pavement. The sign still leans over. It's still matted and broken. They dragged the bike up. I think they dragged the bike up that way with the tow truck. You could see, at the time, you could see where they'd all come down here. This is why I took another 6 years to get on a bike, because I was never going to. I was never going to swing my leg over a bike. Tried to make sense of it, tried to think of what he would want. I know my brother. And he wouldn't want me to restrict my life and my dreams because of what happened to him. He would want me to ride with my brother. He'd want me to get on. He'd want me to ride. He'd want me to have as much fun as I possibly could. I come down here sometimes and walk the area. Sometimes it seems I can feel his presence. I don't know if it's in my head or what. But sometimes I feel like I can feel him. I don't know what is going on here, where this came from, or what it is. It wasn't here before, I can assure that. I found a couple parts of his bike. I found a couple pieces of his bike when I came down here. Found packages from the emergency supplies that they used to try to get him revived or whatever.